if anybody is on here and then wants to let me know they're on here, just comment in the comment section down below. But for now, I will just kind of hang out, see if we get anybody. If not, that's cool. I posted this like 20 minutes before we were about to have the expansion draft, so I do get that. It's kind of frustrating, to be honest. I guess I'm not trying to be like a jerk or anything like that, which we'll probably talk about it too if we get a bigger audience. If not, that's all right. I'll probably just end it off at 8:30 if it's just me. But I guess I'll just ramble on in my own time until people come in and comment that they're here. It's just like, well, obviously you're not excited for the expansion draft in the sense that you're going to lose one of your guys. Most of the time, maybe you'll get somebody that's got a bad contract that leaves. It's whatever. Um, it still is pretty frustrating because it's like you do look forward to watching the production, and it's just, I don't know, it's frustrating. Looks like we might have a second person here. If you are here, Jeremy, hey, how you doing? What are your thoughts with all this stuff that's been going on today? Um, just wanted to hear other people's thoughts on it, and then I'll probably give mine here in a few minutes. I know we're supposed to start the expansion draft at 8, but it's probably like how the games work. Justin, how you doing as well? I did just want to let you guys know that I probably will only be here till about 8:30. I was gonna do like the whole expansion draft, all that good stuff, and then if you've been keeping up with today, there was a guy that I don't know what you'd call him exactly, kind of a reporter, but he also dips into some other stuff. Um, that basically just revealed all the picks. I'm not able to watch a draft, I don't think. So I have ESPN, I think, and then ESPN Plus, but I don't think I have ESPN 2, which is always really weird. Um, but more of this. If you don't want to like watch this, that's fine because like it's more of a rant or anything. Like I'll probably talk about some of the picks that come through here if they come through by the time 8:30 rolls around. But more of this is just kind of like a rant, but also kind of just like see how you guys feel about all that stuff. Because like I said, that guy, I think his name's Frank Saravelli, Volley, whatever, however you say his last name. But he kind of exposed a lot of these picks theoretically. I guess we could be wrong, but I didn't know how you guys felt about that. Personally, I mean, I get it. I kind of look at it as it is your job, so you do have to put out a story. So I do get that aspect, but at the other end of the spectrum, it's like the expansion draft isn't it's super fun to watch, especially if he's right. The first 5 or 6 players that come out, then he's probably right about all the other ones. Are you guys able to watch the draft? I don't exactly know how you'd even get ESPN 2 or what would be on there, but I hate how they break it down where they have like that, and then you have Sportsnet, Sportsnet 1, Sportsnet 2, or however they break it down. It's just kind of a pain. No, I did see who was it. It appears that Dallas's pick, while it isn't official, is in where it is. Who is it that they're getting? Let me look at my phone. It looks like the Blue Jackets won't be having Max Domi go over there, but I think it is Jamie Alexiak signed or is theoretically signing a 5-year, $23 million deal with the Kraken once they're and that'll be like their expansion draft pick. We'll have to see how that goes. Jamie Alexiak, I don't think he's a big name guy where it's like, okay, um, all right, Jeremy. So you're not completely in the wrong there either. Like I kind of agree with you about this. It's tough because it's like I do get it. I get it that you are a reporter or a broadcaster or whatever. Um, I go to school for broadcasting, and so it's like you want to be the first one to release a story. But at the same time, it's kind of like this hurts ratings. Like I'm sure it's going to hurt ratings, and it kind of takes the excitement out because like while I'm not thrilled that a player would get selected off your team, like watching other guys and seeing how they're going to put the roster together is pretty cool. And again, I do get it. I do get that if he wouldn't have done it, somebody else would have. But what it seems like is right now the NHL is fuming. They are furious right now. And it appears that they are basically going to try to figure out who these moles, these rats were that exposed it. Now, the players, I do believe, know right after they're getting, picked for Seattle. I believe they're aware of it as well. So theoretically, it could be coming from some of the players. But either way, it's just kind of frustrating because it's like you wake up, I roll over, I look at my phone, and there's just tweets from him, like a bunch of tweets all over the place about who isn't getting selected, stuff like that. And it's like it does take away from the drama, it does take away from the suspense. And here we are now, and the broadcast isn't going to be nearly as exciting. And isn't ESPN like this is their first thing that they're covering, right? So it's like I'm sure they're mad too, because guess what? The first thing that they're covering in since like 2004 is done, and now it's ruined. Whatever you want to say, I lean both ways because I do think it ruined it, but at the same time I know it's like had he not done it, somebody else would have. But yeah, it seems like Jimmy Alexiak will be their guy that they get on like a 5-year deal. Don't know how I feel about that. I'll have to look at some numbers, probably talk about all this stuff in a video tomorrow, kind of like what do we call them? It's not a weekly Wednesday. We need to get back to doing those again. I am aware I've been pretty bad about that with the playoffs, but we'll probably talk about all this stuff going on tomorrow. It is crazy. I'm going to see if there's like a live thing where it at least will tell me the picks. And then you guys feel free to leave your thoughts down below as well. You can even talk about that, other things, players you hope don't get picked up, players you hope Seattle picks up. A few people that were watching one of my videos the other day were pretty sure that Carey Price was going to get selected, and it appears like that is now not going to be the case. I'm just trying to see if there is anything. Okay. Well, I'm going to just like turn my phone all the way down. Daniel says he's more curious to see what other assets and future teams gave up in order to have Seattle select their players that they did. It's been a minute since I've seen you, Daniel. Good to have you back on here. Yeah, and I'm really curious to see the teams, how they protected players. Mark Giordano or Mark Giordano. I always flip it around, whatever. But it seems like Seattle wanted at least a first-round pick and like 2 third-round picks in order for Calgary to protect him. He's a 37-year-old defenseman. And though I do get it, he is a good player, really good player still. That just seems like, I don't know, that's a lot. And then it appears like the Blue Jackets won't have to lose Max Domi, which I'll have to look more into that, which will be I'll be putting out a video, like I said earlier in this. I'll be putting out a wider video tomorrow, probably talking about some stuff, talking about maybe some big names that didn't get selected, maybe explaining why some big names didn't get selected. Carey Price was one we talked about earlier, the contract, the injuries, the age, all that stuff. There will be a lot to talk about after this. It's just in the moment frustrating because, boom, here we are. We're excited for this expansion draft, and there's nothing. And here we are again. It's 8:08. Not like anything about the expansion draft so far, and it is frustrating. Also, why put it on ESPN2? Really weird. Not a big fan of that. You either need to put it on ESPN, like the main one, or ESPN Plus. I don't know a single person that has ESPN2. Maybe they do, and I'm just kind of oblivious, but I don't understand why you would put it on there. But yeah, I mean, it seems like they've got some guys in mind, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be taking Kaapo Kähkönen from the Minnesota Wild. Big mistake, in my opinion. And if Minnesota can get out of this with keeping Kaapo, obviously they'll have more time for him to develop. They've got Cam Talbot as the 1A, 1B guy for the Wild. So that would be really huge. Now, it does seem like they're definitely taking Chris Driedger, which you would expect because Florida, they have Bobrovsky, which is a contract I guarantee they wish they did sign. And then they have, obviously, Spencer Knight, who he played 2 games in the playoffs. He came in Game 5 and then Game 6, I believe, against Tampa Bay. Yeah, Daniel, you're right. It does seem like they want a lot of cap space. Now, that is another thing I'll say, too. A lot of people have said, oh, okay, this team sucks, which isn't necessarily true because this is not their final roster. And I saw somebody post about it earlier, and I agree with them. The thing is, this isn't the final roster. This is just what they're going to get. You have to select one player from every team except for Vegas. They're just trying to get, their roster full, and then obviously figure out what the team's going to look like from there. But yeah, it seems like they want to have cap space to either go in free agency and maybe get somebody big. You have Landeskog that you might be able to get, as well as some other names. And so I think that's kind of the mindset there. Build a team that's good, but also not got a lot of bad contracts, which makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of surprised that if this sticks, they're not going to be taking anybody that doesn't have a bad contract because maybe the team would give them assets for it. But it looks like from a list that I saw earlier, it doesn't look like they're going to be taking anybody with a terrible contract, which is something to be keeping an eye out on. And another thing is, I don't think their bottom six is going to be that bad if they pick who a lot of people have projected. They've definitely got some pieces they're going to get. I don't think this team's going to be like, wow, we are a bunch of stars, but I think it's going to be a lot more like we're a complete team. Maybe I'm not sure what the offense is going to look like, but the defense should probably be all right. Goaltending, I don't know, depending on who they get. Obviously, Chris Drieger's not had a lot of starts in the NHL. And then who are the other guys that are projected to get? I don't remember. I didn't expect them to get Carey Price, but I will say, after some people talked, I did think, for a franchise that really doesn't project to have a lot of stars their first year, I was a little surprised that they weren't going to go out and get at least one big name guy. I mean, Carey Price, you've got the injuries, the cap, I know, but at the same time, like I said in my last video, he's a Marc Andre Fleury-esque player where guys that don't even like the team would get his jersey just because they like Carey Price or, Carey Price bobblehead, T-shirts, whatever it would be. So I will say a little surprising in that aspect because you would think Seattle would, even if they wanted to take on that big contract with the cap space they have, at least have one person to be like, okay, this is our main focus. This is the shining point. Plus, his wife's from Washington, and he played in the WHL in Washington as well. So it looks like the first pick is in. Let me make sure I'm looking up how to spell his or say his name right. And it is from Boston. This was projected to be a pick here. I'm pretty sure I know how to spell his name, say it. And it is Jeremy Lauzon. At least that's the pronunciation guide. He is a defenseman for the Bruins. He averaged about 19 minutes on the ice this year. Played 41 games for them, had 8 points in those 41 games, 1 goal, 7 assists. We'll have to look more into that later with a shooting percentage of 2.1. However, in the previous 2 years, he had a shooting percentage of 5.0 in 2019-20. In his rookie year, he only played in 16 games. However, he did have a shooting percentage of 9.1, which was the 1 goal. But, it is interesting to see his shooting percentage go down, which I would imagine would have to do with the more games he plays and being a defenseman. But let's see here, his average time on ice increased about 3 minutes per game. And that is there. Let's see, there's another guy that Buffalo, they just released that. Let me look up this guy. I probably am not going to be too familiar with anybody from Buffalo. It's hard to keep up with them. It is Will Borgen, their 4th-round pick from 2015. He has only played in 10 NHL games, and he has 0 points in those games. Again, it's tough to say when you have somebody that hasn't played this many games. He is a defenseman. He shoots. He's a right-hand shot, and he averaged about 16 minutes of time on ice. Actually, he's played in 14 NHL games and hasn't recorded a point. And it's really tough to say with him because if you're in Buffalo, that is a tough market to play in. He's played in 14 games and he has 16 total shots. So something to keep an eye on there. Let's see here. I'm going to try to pull up some more information as well and try to keep up with all this madness. Let's see. Pull up some additional information about both of these guys. Oh, wait. We've already got Detroit. We're moving on. If this is correct, which I think it is. For the Detroit Red Wings, it is Dennis Cholowski. He is actually a 1st-round pick from the 2016 draft. He's got 104 games played in the NHL, 27 points. He played 16 games this year. He had 3 points in those games. He is also a defenseman. It looks like he'll be on that third pairing from a lot of the projections I've seen. It seemed like he would be selected from the Red Wings earlier from what I saw. He's from BC, and not too much more to say about that. He only played 15, 16 minutes a game this season. Let's see, is there any more information I can pull up on him just to provide a little bit of background? So far, 3 defensemen. With some of these teams, it's really hard because they don't have a lot of talent. So Chalowski actually hasn't provided any value in the 3 years he's been in the NHL. Actually had negative value, and that was not with Steve Yzerman's pick, so maybe that's good for him. He has to not worry about that so much, where it is a first rounder, but not in his time with the Red Wings. So move somebody out that maybe doesn't fit your system, and then also you don't have to hear about people saying, oh, you released a first round pick, you just got picked up in the expansion draft. Interesting to keep an eye on that there. And actually, I'm kind of watching the Steve Dangle and the Jesse Blake thing on Sportsnet. That's how I'm getting the picks, at least. And again, I know that I'm sure I'm not the most entertaining guy. Had this not been released, I would have done a whole thing. I was going to write down the best player from each team who I thought they should have done. But when I woke up today, I almost didn't do this just because I was so frustrated with the results. And yeah, Cookie said he didn't look at the leaks earlier, so he's surprised. The only one I do know is the Avs. Yeah, it's really tough because you wake up and you have a live stream that you're planning to do. You're excited about it. You're going to write down all this stuff. And then what do you know? Next thing comes around and everything's pretty much leaked. And I don't know if these are all going to be 100% accurate, but it seems like a lot of them that he had were pretty spot on. Cookie will be back. His mom's home. 4th pick isn't in. I'm going to look at Jeremy. See that pick there. Also, the space bar on my computer stopped working lately, so that's nice. But Jeremy provided value this year. I'm not exactly sure if they would keep him. He is young. He's 24. This was his best season in the NHL, but that's a tough thing when you've got all these. Ooh, Daniel said the Kraken are uploading it. I will check that out. Okay. Still nobody list. Jeremy did provide value. Yeah, he provided value for the Bruins. Not the right Jeremy, but if only we got to have an NHL player in the live stream. Maybe one day, right? I mean, we are growing. We're really, really close to 300 subscribers. I don't know if we'll hit that mark by the end of the in stream, but why did I skip your question? I mean, it's not really hockey related, so I'll probably just skip it. But yeah, in general, we're not doing this. Okay, the pick is in, the new pick. Let's see who it is and where it is from. They're not doing this in alphabetical order, are they? Chris Drieger from Florida. I mean, what do you say there? We did expect this. It seems like he'll sign a 3-year deal with the Kraken. Will he be their starter? Will he be their backup? I don't know. One of the accounts that I followed the other day was talking about how it was major Scott Darling vibes. I don't know. Goalie, all that stuff is really unpredictable. I'll say that. But, if he can do what he did last year, this past season, in the future, even as a backup and provide that value, that'd be really good there. Um, but yeah, Chris Drieger, it's going to be a cheap contract, so it does make sense. It seems like it'll be like $3.5 million per year, not a lot of money for a goalie. And with that, you would imagine he's probably going to be the backup. Maybe, just maybe, he could be the franchise guy for Seattle. You're going to have to sell jerseys one way or the other. And when I looked at a lot of these projected lists, there was a ton of star power. It's going to be hard because Kraken fans are probably only going to be buying jerseys of a few players, select players, or a player they really like, which we'll have to watch out for that as well. Drieger, I believe, has only played 38 games in the NHL. We'll take a look at that. And he did play for 3 years for Ottawa. I don't know if he played a game there every year, but let's see. Forgot the R. Chris. That's how you spell his name, right? I hope we got another pick in. This is from Montreal. This is Cale Fleury. Let's check that out. For a second, I thought it said Calgary. Cale Fleury played in 2020, and he was their third-round pick, and he's only played 41 games. Those all came in 2020. He had 1 point in 41 games, and while points aren't everything, that's probably rough. Let's take a little bit of a bigger look into his career. I mean, it's 41 games, so it is tough. Cale Fleury. Yeah, he did not provide really any value. Offensively, it was pretty rough, as you'd imagine. 1 point in 41 games. I almost worried that would be an empty net goal, too, because that'd be rough. He is a defenseman. He is 22 years old, and I don't really know what I'm going to say about that. I imagine he probably won't make their roster, which I don't know. I would have to look back at Montreal's roster because I feel like there probably would have been somebody else that they could have got. Although I will say it's really, really convenient that Shea Weber and Carey Price were severely injured at the same time. Maybe they really are injured. I don't know. So I'm not going to say it's a fake, but it seems weird that it came out really close together that both of them were injured. Smoke and mirrors, maybe. Mark Bergevin might have to do that in order to keep this team together. Although losing one of the contracts wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Nice straw. Yeah, it's my wife's. She's got a bunch of them. I figured somebody was going to comment about the straw. So, Jeremy, heads up on that. I just grabbed one, and as soon as I saw it, I don't know, maybe it's one from Starbucks. I don't know. She likes those Starbucks things. Starbucks actually used to have really good chocolate chip banana nut bread. And I used to love that. I don't really go to Starbucks too much anymore. I'm kind of a Dunkin' Donuts guy. But yeah. Ottawa's pick is in for Seattle. Let's look him up as well. And it is. This is what I expected. This is Joey Decord. He is a 7th-round pick by Ottawa in the 2015 draft. He's a goalie, which it seemed like they wanted to pick him up. Again, I'm still a little confused by that. He's only played in 9 games in the NHL. His stats have been rough, but at the same time, I'm not going to try to diss on him too much. You look at the Ottawa defense, and they give up a lot of chances, especially in the middle release they have. The past few years, they've been a pretty bad defensive team. Best Edit says, hello, how are you? I am good. How are you doing, Best Edits? And some of these guys, we've already got another pick. It's crazy how fast it's flying by. Let's see what we got here. Yanni Gourde from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, that is a fun one. I am going to look up how old he is. Now, Yanni Gourde is definitely a good player. It really stinks for Tampa Bay that They're losing him. He isn't too young, I don't think. He's 29, so he's not super young, but he's not super old either. He had 17 goals this past season, 19 assists, 36 points in 56 games played. And, Yanni's going to be a good pickup for them. He actually finished sixth in the Calder vote in 2017-18 because he played 22 games the 2 years before that. I would imagine that Yanni will probably be one of their best-selling jerseys, and I imagine he'd either be on the first or second line for them, depending on how things go. And it says there's 0 people here. If you're still here, let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably end it. But if somebody's still here, then I'll keep going. I'm going to look up Yanni Gourde's contract as well. So he signed a 6-year, $31 million contract, and that ends in 4 years. So 4 years of Yanni Gourde. Okay, you're here. I don't know why YouTube has to be like this. I don't know, because it's like, obviously, I thought you guys were here, but it's just so weird how it does that. I'm going to look up Yanni Gourde, his value there. So he's getting about, what, $5 million a year, something like that. I'll have to go back and check. Is there another pick? Yes, there is. Let me check that out real quick. Nope, don't need to know who that is. And it is going to be, my computer is running slow, thank you very much. And it's frozen. That's great. It is going to be a Jared McCann, and he is coming from Toronto. He was a first-round pick by Vancouver, actually, if you guys recall, in the 2014 draft. And he's actually bounced around. He was in Vancouver for, 1 year, something like that? Yeah, 1 year. Then he was in Florida and then Pittsburgh. He never actually played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I don't believe. He has 155 points in 353 games played. They've got him marked down as a center, and it's tough to say because centers aren't exactly what they used to be, where you just took face-offs. It looks like he has been a center in the past, but it looks like maybe this year with Pittsburgh, he might have played out on the wing a little bit, judging off some other things. But yeah, back to the Yanni Gourde thing. I wanted to talk about that, if my computer will let me talk about that. So they've got him for 4 years. So he could likely turn into a fan favorite, but is he worth the money he's getting? We're about to find out. I've got a website that breaks down the calculations of all that. He can be worth it. Will he be worth it in Seattle? It's tough to say because I don't know what kind of offensive help he'll be getting. But yeah, I mean, Yanni Gourde, I imagine, would be on that first or second line. He will be a big help in terms of experience, winning back-to-back Stanley Cups with the Lightning. And for the Lightning, we knew that they were going to lose some players probably to get under the cap. You have Yanni Gourde in the expansion draft. How much does that cut them? Let me just figure this out. So a little bit over $5.1 million. And then I think they traded Barclay Goodrow's rights to the Rangers in the hopes that they can extend him. I don't exactly know how the cap situation worked for Tampa Bay, but the expansion draft, while it's not great, maybe it did help them in the sense that it's a lot easier to say, okay, we lost the guy to expansion, then, okay, we had a good player, but we couldn't get a trade for him because of the market, Corona, all that good stuff. But yeah, they get that going, and with that, they do lose a good player. I'll give him that. But he isn't super young. He is making decent money. It'll help out the cap. Not the end-all, be-all for the Lightning. And either way, I think they probably won't go back to the Stanley Cup. Costa Rican sports fan says, what's up? Hello to you, Costa Rican sports fan. Good to see you back here. But yeah, I don't think the Lightning will return because 3 in a row, that is a physical toll. You have injuries, you have all that. Maybe they could. I mean, they're still going to be a pretty good team, but I think losing some depth and 3 years in a row is a lot for it. So I'm going to say Tampa Bay, as of right now, won't win it. We don't know yet, but I'm going to stick to that until the season previews get started, which will actually probably be. I think we're going to start them in August and then get those pumped out through October. I got classes starting in about a month. The university's actually jipping me again, probably. So we're going to look into that tomorrow because, yeah. But enough of that. We're waiting on the next pick. I'll probably go a few more minutes just so like a few more people can get on here. Nothing crazy. I'll probably just do one more pick, then I'll hop off here. I know I apologize. Like I said, had it been a normal expansion draft where things didn't get leaked, I would have talked about, the whole thing, gone through the whole thing and all that good stuff. But let's see, they're showing me something here. But obviously, with the way that it worked out, we didn't get to know too much, or we got to know way too much, actually, is what I should say. So right now, there's only been 8 players selected. We still have got 22 to go. And the league is finally going back, or going to 32 teams, and it's finally even. I don't know if you remember, but for a while we had, like 14 teams in the West, 16 in the East. And it was really weird. And a lot of Eastern teams didn't like that because they felt like it wasn't fair to them because it was harder to get in the playoffs. And the Western teams, I don't think, minded it too much because they got an easier path to the playoffs, which equals more money, all that stuff. And yeah, we might be at a commercial break. This might be why they've actually not picked anybody in a minute. And is there anybody on this list so far that you didn't expect to go? I know Detroit did a really, really good job of protecting who they were going to probably lose in the expansion draft because they didn't want that to get leaked out for whatever reason. But, they did a good job. Not a lot of other teams did. The NHL probably going to be looking for their moles, whatever you want to call them, that ruined the expansion draft. I mean, from what I've seen on YouTube, there is a ton of people watching the expansion draft right now, or people talking about the expansion draft and then watching them on YouTube. And good grief, it has to be a commercial break because it has been a lifetime since a player has been selected. Also, I'll ask you guys this. Do you guys like Steve Dangle's videos or no? I don't watch him too much, but I will say he's pretty interesting. He's different, provides a different energy. And it is 1,000,000 degrees in my apartment. It's getting hotter by the second. I'm going to go and I'm going to check. Oh, wait, what's happening? Still don't think there's anything. I'm going to check Seattle's story real quick. They have not done a good job of keeping up. Or my phone hasn't. One of the other two. We'll see. Justin's never seen him. He's a Leafs fan that does kind of like intense reactions about the Leafs and stuff like that. As we've got to pick in, and I always forget how to say his last name. It is Carolina's player. Kind of surprised here. Let me look that up. How do you say his last name? So it's Morgan Geeky or Geeky. I think you pronounce it Geeky is always how I've pronounced it. He was a 3rd-round pick by the Hurricanes in the 2017 draft. He had 9 points in 36 games this year. He's listed as a center. Now, I'm a little surprised because you have Nino Niederreiter and Jake Bean that were the two favorites, I'd say, to get picked. But at the same time, people have been talking about no idea. The pronunciation guide is worthless here. I always pronounce him Geeky, but it might be Gecky. I think it very well could be. And let's take a look at his numbers before we sign off here. I don't know what his contract runs for, but it looks like he does provide value defensively, not so much offensively. Yes, the numbers might not support it too much. And he is getting paid his entry-level deal, so it's not a lot of money. And yeah. Now, I apologize because I will be signing off here, and I'm sure that's not what you want to hear, as we are about a third of the way through this draft, this expansion draft. Um, Let me message her and see what she's doing. Either way, I think I'm just probably gonna hop off. I apologize, guys. Um, you know, I'm not gonna say that it's the what 299 subscribers. Heck yeah. Well, my wife just let me know that I'm one subscriber away. We'll have to see. I apologize though. I'm gonna, you know what? Let me see what she wants, and we'll see if she's down to do it or not. It's been what, about 20 minutes, and we've got through about 10 draft picks. We will see. But the Blue Jackets aren't losing Max Domi. We are losing. Who was it? It's a prospect, I believe. In my live video just went down. And I apologize if I seem a little bit out of wits. I was expecting to have paper, notes, everything. And then it was like 20 minutes before that I decided that I was even going to do it. Oh, yikes. The Devils selected, or the Devils lost Nathan Bastian. And I kind of thought that they would lose Will Butcher. Let's see about Nathan Bastian. All his info. Nope. I just lost something I needed. But yeah, I said Will Butcher would kind of be an underrated pickup. So Bastian actually was a second round pick in the 28 or the 2016 draft. He is 23, and he is a what have they got him listed as? Don't know why I typed that in. That's not his name. So Bastian is listed as a right winger. He had 10 points in 41 games. Uh, I still think they probably should have gone the Will Butcher route, but I imagine since Bastian's cheap and provided some value, they'll use him in a bottom six role if he makes a team. If not, obviously it's no big deal. But I still think maybe Will Butcher was the way to go. I want to look at Will Butcher's contract. As the Islanders lose Jordan Eberle, we wondered who that would be for the Islanders. Now, Eberle is a little bit older, and I think this is actually a good thing for the Islanders because I know that they're a little bit strapped for cash. I want to see what. Now, he does provide value to the team. There's no doubt about that. But he is 31 and he gets paid $5.5 million. I mean, that's not the end all be all. Either way, they are freeing up a little cap. They've got Barzal to pay, all that. But we did want, I think for the Islanders, they actually traded away somebody the other day. Was it Letty to the Coyotes in order to move that money? They didn't want to have to pay him, so they traded it was either 2 seconds and a third or 1 second and 2/3. So they did that. And I mean, what would that be, like 10-ish? Let me look at how much money Letty made because I'm pretty sure it was Letty that got traded. Yeah, it was actually Laud that was traded. And I want to see how much Laud makes. He makes. That can't be right, right? We're going to Sports Strike to look it up. And if anybody wants to be my 300th subscriber, if you have not subscribed, you can be that person. And if you do that, let me know. That'd be really cool to be that. I don't know if you'd say landmark because people wouldn't traditionally consider 300 a landmark, but we're making progress. So Letty actually makes Laud. I don't know why I keep saying Letty. Laud makes $5.5 million a year. So what would that be, like $11 million that they'd get to save? Oh, just poked myself. I don't usually use a straw. That's $11 million. I know they got to pay. Beauvillier is a RFA this year too, and thankfully, it appears that since Price wasn't selected, that Montreal will shy away from taking Pedersen in the or try to offer him a big thing since he's an RFA. But they might consider Beauvillier. I've heard that as well. And this is one that I'm really excited for. The Kraken have selected Colin Blackwell from the New York Rangers. I think it was a mistake that the Rangers didn't protect Colin Blackwell. He will make this roster. I can almost guarantee in that bottom six role. Third line guy, I would say, probably not fourth line. But on that third line, you're going to get decent production, especially for the price that you're paying for Blackwell. This is a good pickup for them. Under the radar, a lot of people wouldn't know who Colin Blackwell is. But when you look at the underlying numbers and you look at how much he's getting paid, this was a big steal. And I thought it was weird some of the Rangers that were protected in the expansion draft, because some of them didn't even have an NMC or anything like that, but they were able to pick up Blackwell again, probably a third line guy, and he should provide pretty good value. Let's see if we did hit that 300 subscriber mark. Thank you very much, whoever that was. I don't know if you guys are watching or whatever, but that feels good to break that. I thank you so much. We are pushing forward to 1,000. I believe it. And one day we're going to get to the point where I can release multiple videos a day. And I'll do this for a living, and this will be great. And I love it so much. And we are just kind of enjoying the moment right now. Like I said, there's not really been a pick since then. Colin Blackwell was the last guy to go. I don't want to seem like I'm drooling too much about Colin Blackwell, but he is a good pickup. I really do believe that. And if my computer didn't run so slow, I could pick up some stuff. I'm probably going to talk to the university. I think if your computer doesn't break and you've had it over a certain period of time, you're allowed to get a new one. But yeah, Blackwell is 28, so he's a little bit older, but he's played pretty well in his career. He hasn't played that many games, only 80 in his career, but with what he's done, it's not been bad. The offensive production is not bad either. I think he does provide two-way value. I'd have to look more into that. And we're just waiting on that 14th pick. I will say it's going by pretty smooth. It's been a pretty fast draft, but with the late start, which is nothing new for the NHL, and with the commercial breaks, it's going to slow it down a little bit. And I don't watch basketball or anything like that or baseball. Do those games usually start on time, or are those late as well, like exceptionally late in the 20 to 25 minute range? Let me know if you do watch those. I did see that the Bucks won yesterday in the finals. That's really cool because it's been since the really early 70s since they've won a title. And I am happy for Giannis. Again, I'm not a big basketball guy, but it was good for the NBA to get that parity of the Suns and the Bucks. And we're still waiting on that next pick. And it's kind of weird. I don't know how they do it if they just shuffle the order that it's supposed to be in, because it's definitely not alphabetical order. Maybe they did it by division, and I'm just too dumb to realize that. I think they might have. Let's see. Sorry for that if you had to hear my phone dropping. Okay. We're just waiting on another pick while we're here. Just kind of ask about whatever, kind of your thoughts, whatever, anything like that. If you are new, please make sure to subscribe. That is very helpful and pushes us closer. I think we're actually projected to be at 1,000 subscribers 4 days before my birthday. That would be amazing if we could do that. My birthday's in March, like later March, so maybe we can do it. It's going to be a tall task, but we have grown, so I'm really thankful for that. I think a pick's about to come in, And again, feel free to ask whatever. We're killing time here. There's not always going to be a player to talk about right away. So if you want to ask questions, leave comments, whatever. It has been a long time since I've done a live stream. I plan on doing another one for the Stanley Cup Finals, but my grandpa's birthday was going on. He was having a birthday dinner. He was going through radiation and stuff like that. So I ended up going to his birthday party, kind of surprising him. We live about 2 hours away from my family. So surprised him, so I didn't get to do that one. Then I thought Montreal was going to lose the next one because Tampa Bay was so good that I ended up not doing it so I could get ready to do a series review for that. So I do apologize that I didn't end up doing another live stream like I said I would, but my family members kind of sprung it up on me. They said, hey, your grandpa's having a dinner tonight. Would you want to go? Because I don't think it was his actual birthday. I think it was a day or two before, something like that. Still waiting for this next pick. I'm going to try to close out of some tabs. But yeah, I forgot to mention that to everybody. So I do feel bad if you were expecting another live stream. We'll probably do one or two more live streams before I start classes again. And I've thought about maybe, during the regular season, maybe not even once a week, but if my schedule permits it, doing a live stream where I talk about a game going on, but also answer questions. I don't know how often that'll happen. I have no idea how hectic this semester will be. I do have one class left for my major. And I know that's going to be a pain. So the pick is in from Philadelphia, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so we're going to look it up. So it is Carson Tarinsky, and they've just got him listed as a forward that's left-handed shot from the Philadelphia Flyers. He is 23 years old. He's played in 22 NHL games. He has 1 point in those 22 games. And I was almost expecting, it seems like, like David said earlier in this live stream, Seattle doesn't want to pick up these big contracts. Now, I expected Jacob Voracek to possibly go to Seattle. It seems like he wanted to leave Philly, doesn't vibe there anymore. And I almost wondered if it would be him, but it will not be. Voracek, we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Will he get angry that he's not going to be traded, or at least going to Seattle? Will he want to force a trade, or will he hunker down and at least be a good teammate? I expect he will be. He seems like a pretty nice guy in the media and also not in real life because I haven't met him, but in interviews and stuff like that, he seems like he's pretty nice. Always tough to say, but he does seem like a good team player. And it is weird because a lot of these guys, obviously, they only need to keep, I think, 20 players from this list, something like that. But it seems like a lot of these guys won't be playing for them, as another pick is in, and it is Brendan Tanev from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kind of shocking, they had some good options there, and I don't think Tanev was a bad pick. I'd have to look at who else. There's somebody else that I said was probably a better option for them. Pittsburgh loses a good player. Let's see how old he is. As my computer freezes. I don't think he's crazy old. He is 29. He is projected as a winger. And while he doesn't put up a crazy amount of points, about a point every 3 games, I think he plays pretty decently. He doesn't get a ton of minutes. He's never actually even averaged over 15 minutes a night in his career. But in 2018-19, he put up 29 points in just over 14 minutes of work and has actually finished top 30 in Selke voting twice. In 2019-20, he was 18th. And let's take a look at some other stuff as well. And he is Chris's brother, so that makes a lot of sense. Defensively and offensively provides a lot of value. Might not put up the sexy stats that are traditional, but I think he gives you more than what he's worth. No, actually, I don't. I won't say that. He makes $3.5 million a year. I don't know if he's going to give you that much, but he still provides some good value. Pittsburgh might like that too because they are losing somebody that 3.5 million. I don't know. Pittsburgh is such a hard team to talk about. Them in Washington for probably about 3 years. I've said those two teams are going to be on the decline, and they still continue to perform well, at least in the regular season. Washington and Pittsburgh are really, really old. Washington was actually the oldest team in the league on average age of their roster. Sorry, almost caught my kitchen on fire. Justin, don't do that. Don't do that. Be safe. Be safe there. Definitely don't do that. And a surprising pick here as they pick Vitek Vanacek from the Washington Capitals. He is a young goalie. I remember him. He was kind of like he's back now. That's good. But he was a 1A, 1B type goalie for the Capitals, if I recall. He did not have a great year. Kind of surprising. I don't understand everything that's going on with Seattle. They probably have a lot of things going on behind the curtains. They've got free agency coming up. They've got that period where they're allowed to talk to people that nobody else is allowed to talk to because the regular season free agency actually doesn't start until July 28th, which we will be ready for. We are going to be prepared for that. But they select a young goalie. Maybe it works out. Here's the thing. The blue line should probably be fairly good for the Kraken. If you have a good blue line that keeps shots far away, doesn't allow them down low in the slot, for a younger goalie, that is big. And it's telling me I could still get my workout activity for the day. I'm going to try to do that. But you get a young goalie, maybe it works out. I still think that Kaapo Kähkönen was a good choice. I don't think that they're picking him. Maybe we'll see. What have they selected? 2 goalies so far, Drieger and Vitek Vanacek. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right. It's been a minute since then, but he is young. Let's get an idea on how young he is. He might be 25. I thought I remember that being how old he was, as we're actually halfway through the expansion draft, a little over halfway through. This was his rookie year as well. Yeah, so he's 25. I thought so, and I am right there. Played 37 games. He had a pretty decent goals against average. Save percentage wasn't the greatest. Not the end all be all. I don't think he had a very good playoffs against the Bruins. And Justin, how'd you almost burn down your kitchen? I'll catch your kitchen on fire. Still waiting on another pick here. But I feel good that we hit 300 subscribers. I was going to be really disappointed if I got to school here in about a month and I wasn't at 300 subscribers because we were so close. We actually had pretty good growth, and we were stuck at 297 for probably about a week with pizza. Relatable, very fair. But we were stuck at 297 for about a week, and then we've got like 3 subscribers a past day, like less than 24 hours, so I appreciate that. Pizza is always the answer. My wife and I made pizza the other day, like mini pizzas. Those are really nice, and I am a pizza connoisseur. So, also, if any of you remember my incident with peanut butter and I was doing a diet, I had to break down that same live stream, and after I was done, I ate a whole cup of peanut butter with chocolate chips. And just so you know, a whole cup of peanut butter is 1,500 calories. I didn't eat all of it. I ate most of it. I'll probably say about 70% of it before I got sick of it. But that peanut butter was really good and worth it. No regrets. I'm still working out, still drinking water. Probably should be eating less. I'll say that. But it is really tough because I like food a lot. And who was it that do you guys remember who was going to be announcing who the picks were? It was Marshawn Lynch, Cam Chancellor, and then there's 2 other people, but I don't remember who they were. I might look that up. But if you guys want to look it up too and just type it in the chat, that'd be great. Sean Kemp, and then Sue Bird. And I think Sue Bird plays in the WNBA. I don't know what is it, like the Seattle Sound or something like that for them. So they've got four players. Marshall Lynch was always really fun to watch in the NHL. Now, Seattle's home opener will be October 23rd against my Vancouver Canucks. I hope that we sweep the floor with them, mop the floor with them. They've already done a few things to annoy me. They want to hang up that 1917 Stanley Cup banner. Not your team. You don't get to hang it up. Um, that's over 100 years ago, too. Do you really want to hang up a banner from 1917? They don't get to. I don't think that they should. I don't like the fact that they're in the Pacific Northwest now. I've always liked that the Canucks have had that free range. And I don't know, they just some of the stuff that they post kind of like annoys me. You can tell that they definitely want to get that hip Seattle vibe, but they definitely do annoy me. Don't get me wrong, the jerseys are amazing and they'll probably have a fairly competent team, but we're about out of water. Shameful, shameful, shameful. And we are just at a commercial break. So feel free to talk about whatever while we are here. We are waiting. Trying to figure out what I'm going to eat for dinner. Actually, another pick is in. Let's see who it is. It is one of my favorite players in the entire league. For his name, it is Tyler Pitlick from the Arizona Coyotes. Now let's take a look at Tyler's information. I'm not a big fan that Arizona has to move into the Central. It's only a few hundred miles east of Vegas, I think. And since they're older, I think they should get to stay. And it's not like the NHL's ever cared about travel. I mean, good grief, the Red Wings were in the West all those years. So Pitlick is a second-round pick by Edmonton from the 2010 draft. He is 29, about to turn probably what he'd be about 30 by the time the season started. Not as promising as a career as you probably would like for a second rounder. Pitlick only has 84 points in 286 games played. He had 11 and 38 this year. And he actually got more ice time than his career average. He got about 16 and a half minutes per night in his 1 year in Arizona. And he actually averages about 12 and a half minutes. Before that, his high was 13 minutes and 41 seconds per night. Again, another guy, I'm not exactly sure if he'll make the roster. Let's see. I mean, I would get his jersey. If I got a Seattle Kraken jersey that wasn't customized, I would probably get a Tyler Pitlick jersey because the name. I mean, come on now. So how much is he getting paid? That's probably going to be what it all comes down to. $1.8 million. I just don't even think he provides that much value. I hate to be that guy. I never want to trash on a player, but I don't. Tyler Pitlick probably, I don't want to say, oh, he belongs in the AHL, but with his career, what we've seen, it's not really worked out for him. Maybe it could work out here if he makes the roster. I don't know. I would imagine if he did, he'd probably be on the fourth line. Does Seattle have an AHL team this year too, or are they sharing a AHL team? Let me look that up. So they're going to actually play in the year after. So I think they're sharing it with Florida or somebody like that. But yeah, Abbott's for the Canucks. I know, very creative for the Vancouver Canucks AHL team. But I like it. Johnny Canuck, I was always a big fan of the green. I always liked. I'm getting an Abbotsford jersey for Christmas. I talked to my wife. I said, listen, this is what I want for Christmas. I literally, even if it took me not getting anything for my birthday or whatever, I want the Abbotsford jersey because it's really a Canucks jersey. Chicago's pick is in, and it is Coach Q's son, right? He's Coach Q's son. And my computer is frozen. You love to see it. It is John Quinville. He's got to be related to Coach Q. I'm pretty sure he is. Somebody put in the comments below if he is or isn't. He has only played 42 games in his career. He's had 5 points. He is registered as a center, although there's no way he is based off the ice time he's getting. And I know faceoffs aren't everything, but good grief, there is just no way. It's been pretty rough for him. I don't imagine he'll make the roster. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, pick for Colorado is in Jonas Donskoy. Great, great pickup. Probably will be a middle six guy. I'd imagine probably on the second line for them. Donskoy's been really good since he's gone to Colorado. Makes sense because he's in Colorado, but pretty sure Donskoy was with the Sharks before he was with the Avs. Yes, he was. He was with the Sharks for 4 years, and he was with the Avalanche for 2 years. So in his career, he has got 186 points in 399 games, 78 goals, 108 assists, or Jonas Donskoy, not Jonas Donskoy. And he is a winger. He probably will be on that second or third line. He is not suited to be a top line guy, but if he could be a middle six guy, you're probably going to be all right. Let's see what his career high in points is. That was 2018-19 with 37. And you're probably best suited to have him on your third line, I'd say. But it looks like from what I saw projected, he was either, like I said, a middle six guy. He was going to be around there. And I missed a pick. My apologies. But we are talking about Jamie Alexiak for the Dallas Stars. Alexiak was, like I said in the beginning of the video, pretty sure that he's going to sign a 5-year, $23 million deal for Seattle or with Seattle. And Alexiak, I don't want to say that he's not worth it. Never want to say that about a player, but I just think that might be a little bit too much money for him. He was a first-round pick by Dallas in the 2011 draft. And he actually played with the Penguins for, what was it, like 2 or 3 years? I think it was like 2. But yeah, he went back to Dallas. I don't think things ever worked out how people were hoping it would work with Jamie Alexiak, but maybe things could go well for him in Seattle. 5 years, 5 years, yikes. I don't know if I agree with that. That might be a little bit too rich for my blood, but it is whatever. Let's see if they've got any new picks in. Surely they do. I'm trying to pull it up. Well, I missed whoever was at 19th, but they will talk about it. I do know that. They'll probably do a chart at the commercial break. But yeah, you got Alexiak. Let me see if I can look it up. It could be somebody that you could theoretically get and get a jersey of if you were going to be a Kraken fan. No, it was Donskoy at 19. Okay, then we didn't miss anybody. So Alexiak, Donskoy. So far, I really like the Donskoy pickup, the Blackwell pickup. Drieger, not sure how I feel about that. One pick I'm not sure how we'll feel if they don't select Kaapo Kähkönen is that I don't see how you would pass on him. Maybe I'm crazy as we've got another pick in, but I do think Kaapo Kähkönen deserves it. And they're not picking Kaapo Kähkönen. It will be, let's see here. It is, where'd my computer go? On my computer, but the thing's having an issue here. It is going to be Carson Soucy of the Minnesota Wild. He is, how old is he? 26. He's about to turn 27. He's got 31 points in 108 games, and he is, that's a mistake. I still think that's a mistake. Kähkönen is good. He is good. I know he had a down year. He's young, but if you get a good blue line in front of him, you're going to be fine. I don't agree with this. I do think that that is a mistake. Now, Soucy is not a bad player. I'll say that, but he's a young goalie that you could build around. He's a two-way guy. He's good. He is good. It's not bad. It's not a bad pick. I still feel like with Drieger, man, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. Minnesota, I guess you get to keep him, so that's good. But you do lose Susie. Hello? Hello? I'm trying to see. I thought I heard a knock on the door. Maybe I'm just crazy. But yeah, Susie definitely good value, especially for the minutes he played. It's tough. Which one would you guys want? Would you want Kokkonen or Susie? Let me know down in the comments down below as we wait for the next pick. We've only got 9 more to go. No idea how this is going to do view-wise. I'll probably change the thumbnail later because, again, it wasn't a creative thumbnail. It's something I'd use for another video. But for now, it will do. It's a ghost. Probably. I swear I heard knocking. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe somebody did knock on it, but maybe I've gone hockey crazy. Maybe after doing all these videos, I have really lost it. Maybe it's a Shutter Island experience if you guys have ever seen that movie. That's a really good movie. I don't like the ending, but at the same time, it does make it a really good movie. I think I saw Shutter Island. It wasn't in theaters, but it was the year that it came out, I think on DVD, which really doesn't exist anymore, which is crazy. Maybe they did knock on the front door. The thing is, I live in an apartment building where I really don't know anybody, so it'd be really weird for somebody to do that. Although one time, I'll say this while we're waiting on the next pick, somebody knocked on my door, and it was a package from my wife, asked if it was our name. We said yes, and then they just walked away with the package. And we talked to the people that are in charge of the apartments. They sent out an email basically kind of being like, hey, if anybody has this package, please return it to the front desk. And no, they never did. So we lost the package. It was a gift from our previous teacher from high school that she kind of like did a thing for us. But yeah, they just asked if it was my name. I said yes. And then they just turned around and walked away. I had no idea what to even think about it. And I thought they were part of the people that like run it, but no, they weren't. As we go to commercial break, but yeah, they stole it basically. And it was like a little homecraft thing that our teacher made for us after we got married. So she had to make another one. And luckily she didn't, make us pay for the new thing or anything like that. But I mean, who would just steal that? And then when you opened it, you'd clearly see it's not worth any money because it's a personal gift. Really makes me mad thinking about that, but it is what it is, I guess. As we look here, the Blues, the Canucks, the Ducks, the Flames, the Jets, the Kings, the Oilers, the Preds, and the Sharks are the only ones that have not gone. Yeah, I know. I thought that like he was just like, oh, I want to make sure that it's theirs, and then I'll put it in processing, or I don't know what it was. He had the box in his hand, asked, hey, is this your name? Blah, blah, blah. And that was that, and just walked away. And I was just like stunned, I guess, because he didn't seem like he was wearing any like crummy clothes or anything that would suggest that he would steal it. He was dressed fairly nice. Jeans and like a nice flannel shirt. His hair wasn't like a crazy person's haircut or anything like that. I don't know. The guy got a free homemade gift for us for our wedding, so thanks, jerk. And it looks like just about everybody off that list that this guy made, the Frank Saravelli volley, is right, if I believe. And from what I've said here so far, Don Skoy I agree with. Pitlick, don't really know. Again, some of these lists are hard when you have a team that's not very deep, that isn't the greatest. Blackwell, I think that's a good one there. Drieger, I think, will work out, especially if they formulate a good blue line. The forwards, again, we don't know how well they're going to score, but Drieger, maybe he's not going to be a guy that starts 60 games for you in a season, but 40 to 50 there might not be the worst thing in the world. You got Yanni Gord, probably the biggest name on this list so far. Let me look through here. Susie was a good pickup as well. I do think Kakinen, it is unpredictable, I guess, with how Susie's played the next 2 years, or the past 2 years. That makes sense there. Um, as we wait for the next pick to come in. But I do feel bamboozled. If you had somebody that was fairly well dressed and looked like they were well groomed in the sense like he didn't have dirty nails or anything like that, he just stole my package. Wonder if that's part of his ploy. The thing is, you can't get into my building without a key. So it believes me, or leads me to believe that he does live here, or did live here at the time. This happened about a year ago, and just stole it. And it branches off into like 4 different areas, and then it's got like however many floors above us. And so he could really be anywhere if he even still lives here. And it is frustrating as we're still waiting for this next pick. We've got 9 more to go. Get our watch hours up. We've got some likes on this video. If you are seeing this now and have not liked and subscribed, please make sure to do that. As we push closer towards 1,000, we get to make money off this. I get to put in more time. And yeah, obviously that's good for all of us all the way around. Certainly good for me and you guys, I would say. I want to see if we've gained any more subscribers. If not, I'm happy that we hit 300. That feels great. Is my computer dying? There's no way because I've got it plugged in. And it's dying even though it's plugged in. So that's nice. There we go. It might have just popped out for a little bit. The pick is in, and it is from Nashville. It's always hard when it's not a player that you know super well or that's on your team. You have a hard time pronouncing it, so I'm going to look it up. But he's a good player. I've already looked into him. It is Cale Yarncroc, which I already knew, but I didn't want to say his last name wrong. Cale Yarncroc actually is a good deal. I think he only makes $2 million a year. He's 29 and provides a lot of value. He had 28 points in 49 games. He's good. He's good. I don't know where he'll factor in on their lines, but I do like this. This is another good one that is underrated. For Nashville, you got to be sad that it's not Johansson or Duchesne losing that money, but that I didn't figure that they would take him, just or take them because of the contracts. Had they done it though, I might have given up some picks just to lose some of that money. But Yarncroc is a good deal here, a good pickup by them. Do you guys think that Vegas should have had to be part of the expansion draft this year? Yes or no? And let's remember, let's take out the hate for them, all that good stuff. You know, hate them or love them. Do you actually think that they should have been part of the expansion draft? I hate them. I hate the team. But I'm going to say no just because it's like, take away their success. Had they been a bad franchise after 4 years, I think most people wouldn't say, okay, a 4-year-old franchise has to be part of an expansion draft. Now, if you think that, that's fine because, again, I don't really like Vegas at all. They're one of my least favorite franchises in the league. The fans are super passionate, which I guess is a good thing. And I have met some really cool Vegas fans. But, 4 years old as a team in a normal sense would be tough. Now, I will say, with how generous, which was a term somebody else used the other day in one of my videos when they commented, the expansion draft has become, I do think maybe they could have been, because you look at it and this is a much better expansion draft that you're getting than back in the day. And I think Vince Dunn is going to be the next guy up, and that is pretty good. That's a good pickup. I want to look at how much money he's making. But this is a good pickup here. He'll probably be one of the top line guys, or top pairing at least. Let's see here. And while this was a little bit, I got a hiccup. Well, this was a little bit of a tough year for him. He's still really good. And then, all right, we've already got Winnipeg's. All right, Mason Appleton. Let's look that up. Pretty sure that he's probably worth it too. He plays on the blue line, yeah. There's a lot of minutes, I think. No, he's a center. My mistake. He is. Let's see. He is 25. His entry level deal's got to be ending soon, though. So I don't know if I understand that because you're going to have to pay him. He's a fun name too. You've got Pitlick and Appleton. There's already some fun names to do there if you did decide to get a jersey. He was drafted in the 6th round. Yeah, he's in. No, wait, he's an RFA next year. So you'd have to pay him next year. I don't think you'd have to pay him too much, but you'd hate for him to have a breakout year and then boom, you lose him. We'll see though. Winnipeg, I don't think had a ton of crazy options, did they, for players to get? So maybe Appleton was the best of the bunch. And it looks like, oh, that's just a shadow of my head. I kept thinking that there was a piece of hair sticking out. But yeah, they've got Appleton. Vince Dunn, though, I really like that. Susie Dunn. They've had some other good pickups. Again, we have to remember this is not their exact roster. This is not who they're going to be having, set in stone, all 30 guys. You can't do that. The roster is not big enough. So they do have some guys. Dunn, I think, will be a good pickup. Susie, good pickup. Blackwell, good pickup. All that stuff there. And then also, I'll probably do a video in the next few days if things don't get settled soon with Kaprizov about him going back to Russia, which I don't think he will. I actually looked up the top paid players for the KHL, and the most you get paid is $1.5 million a year. I don't think he's going to go back to the KHL. He would have to miss Russia like crazy to lose out on all that money. So the next pick for the Kraken will be Hayden Fleury. Let's look into him. I thought they were going to take. Let's see here. As I hate my computer, it's so slow. I thought they were going to take Adam Henrique, but they didn't. Let's look up Fleury. Now, I don't think Henrique was worth the money that was getting paid to him. Well, let's see. Fleury was the first-round draft pick by Carolina in the 2014 draft, played for the Red Deer Rebels. And he's got 27 points in 179 games as a defenseman. We'll have to see here how that will all play out for them. His deal, I think, might be ending soon, too. Let me look that up. Again, I still think I'm kind of surprised by the Carolina choice for the Kraken. Kind of thought they would either go Bean or Nino Ryder with that route. Yeah, so Fleury will be an RFA in 2 years. Or in 1 year, excuse me, after this season. Did I spell that right? I did not. Tough too because they're going pretty fast, so you can't really do a lot of math. So Fleury, I don't know. I don't know if I would have selected Fleury if I were Seattle. This was a really rough year for him. 4 points in 47 games. And offensively, it was rough. Defensively, it wasn't terrible. It didn't have a positive metric on there. But offensively, if you get 4 points in 47 games, I know he's a defenseman, but still, that is not easy on the ice, as they say. What, we've got like 4 more selections left to go. I don't even know who's left. I think the Canucks are one of the few ones remaining because they did it by division. Then I think they went in alphabetical order. Maybe they didn't. No, they didn't. But they did go by division, I think. Let's see if there's anything. So we've got Calgary, which is going to be huge if Giordano's selected. Then you've got obviously San Jose, Vancouver, and then Edmonton. Really curious. I think some of the most interesting parts will come with Calgary in Edmonton towards the end of this. I think San Jose would really prefer for Martin Jones to get selected. I don't think it's going to happen. It appears they want to get another veteran goalie. The goalie situation in San Jose is not working. I am a big Martin Jones fan, but his career probably is close to being done. Things have not gone his way in San Jose probably the past 2 or 3 years. It's crazy, though, because he performed fairly well for their Stanley Cup Finals run, if I believe right. From what I've seen, Vancouver is going to be losing Lynn, which is a prospect for us. He was selected second overall, not second overall, second in the second round of the 2017 draft. And it looks like he's moved over from center to right wing. Seattle might view him as a asset in the future. I don't know if they're actually going to have him in the NHL. They might put him in the AHL. I'm just waiting on those last four. And I tell you, Calgary is going to be really tough for Flames fans. I've heard that they're not going to select Giordano, which means that picks are probably going their way. We'll know more about that probably tomorrow. But Giordano still provides a lot of value. Commercial breaks are the worst. I wish they didn't have to do it, but I know they got to make their money. Still nothing as of yet. Have you guys been having a good time? Because if not, we can just end it. I feel bad for everybody. I didn't really come prepared because I didn't feel like I was going to be doing this. But if like everybody's like not feeling it and they just want to end it, we can. I know we've got 4 left to go, but if you are enjoying it, we can still keep it up. I really haven't come prepared though. Are we really about to get another commercial break? I hope not. Also, I know some of you probably, or a lot of you might not watch the CHL Canadian Hockey League. Jeremy says finish it. We will then. But the Canadian Hockey League, you've got the WHL, the QMJHL, the OHL. They just signed deals with TSN, CBC, and another company to put their games on there, which will make it more accessible, which is always a good thing. I wish the CHL was bigger. I'm not going to say that I'm a big CHL junkie. I started getting into it, I'd say probably last year. And I'm not like, huge into it. I'm going to try to get more into it. But for the CHL to grow would be a good thing for hockey. So I'm glad that TSN, CBC, and then another company signed with them, paired with them to put out some of their games. As we've got a pick in here. Oh, no! My heart. I usually feel bad for Calgary fans, or I don't feel bad for him, but Mark Giordano will be going to the Seattle Kraken. And unless, he gets cut or something like that, he's going to have to don a different team's jersey for the first time in his career. That is awful. He is the Flames captain. That can't be true. Say it isn't so. I don't even like the Flames, but please, please, please don't make the roster. Go back to Calgary, finish out your career there, or retire. You do not need to be in a different jersey. That is not fair to you or Calgary fans. That is crossing a line. Seattle has no heart. But the blue line looks pretty good. That is crushing. Oh, Mark, that's terrible. How many years has he been there? He's been there for 15 years, right? He's got to be. He has played 15 years with Calgary. He does not deserve to be sent to another team. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I think he's only got 1 year left on his contract, too. So I was curious to see if they were going to go get a 37-year-old defenseman with 1 year left on his deal. And then they tried to blackmail Calgary to give them picks. Please, Mark, please do terrible in the training camps. Please either retire or just not do that. I'm actually friends with a Flames fan, and I feel bad for him because he did not want Mark to leave. He is in all likelihood gone. We've only got 3 more picks to go. Now, I'd almost like to see them. I wish if they would have put Calgary at the end to just end it on a high note. But I thought that it had said Mark wasn't going to be picked. Maybe I read it wrong. I thought they were going to just try to get somebody else. But you get somebody. Do you pair him? Do you put him on the top pairing? As a 37-year-old, you would say no, but he's such a good player that I would say probably you would. Maybe we have 4 more teams to go. Maybe I'm wrong. This says that this is pick 27, so theoretically we have 4 more. And hopefully they hurry it up. I got to work out before midnight to get my exercise minutes. But either way, it's a good night. We hit the 300 subscriber mark. We're going to keep pushing on, making our way. And it feels more and more legit when I talk to people whenever they say, oh, you do YouTube, and they'll say, how many subscribers do you have? I love the support I get from all my subscribers. It just does make me feel a little bit better when I'm able to, talk about a higher number, because then people, when I was at like the 50 mark, they looked at me like I was an idiot that was wasting my time. So the bigger we get, the more it seems like people aren't thinking of me as a moron, which you're not a moron if you do these videos. You know what I mean? Like, you connect with an audience, you talk about something you love. Even if you have 1 subscriber, you're not a moron. You're just doing something you love. So I just think it's dumb when people are kind of rude about that stuff. Waiting on this next pick. I'm getting hungry. I got to work out. They better hurry it up. I wanted them to take Holtby so bad from the Canucks, but I can almost bet my life that they're not going to be taking him. As we've got a new pick in here. Adam Larson from Edmonton. Okay, well, they didn't take, what was it? Who were they really eyeing? It was, I'm blanking on his name right now. He just had shoulder surgery, and he's probably going to have it again. I talked about him in a video the other day. Yeah, they're taking Adam Larson, a 28-year-old defenseman out of Edmonton. He was a first-round pick by New Jersey in the 2011 draft, 4th overall, actually. And he spent the last, 5 years with Edmonton. Was he part of the... No, he wasn't part of that trade. Let me see. Well, let's look up Larson. Not arson. Don't do arson. Arson's bad. Take a look at Larson. And still provides value. Actually, this was a pretty good year for him, especially defensively. Defense has never been an issue for him. Offense has been a big issue for him. Really, really good year for him defensively. He gets paid $3.4 million. No, actually 4.2. I don't think you're going to get that value out of him, especially because of his offensive game, but maybe they just feel like they at least wanted to get a guy that was good defensively, pair him with maybe somebody that's good offensively, and we'll see what goes on from there. Also, it seems like apparently this isn't set in stone, but the Kraken are trying to get Dougie Hamilton. This is, not something that's, again, they aren't saying this is, put all your money on it because this is going to happen, but they are saying Dougie Hamilton is getting interest from Seattle. The Kings pick, or the Kings person is in, and who is this? I don't think he's played an NHL game. I don't believe so. It is Curtis McDermott, and he was selected. He's 27. Has he played an NHL game? Yeah, he's played 28 games in his career. No, he's played 118. Why is his name not popping? Why is his name not popping up then for the NHL thing? So he's put up 17 points in 118 games. All of those have come with Los Angeles. He's 27, selected. I don't think he was drafted, actually. Yeah, Giordano won a Norris a few years back, so I guess in terms of name power, he's probably up there with the most popular player that they could have on there. And San Jose has lost Alexander True. Let's see here, getting any information we can on him. Who's the last team to go? Vancouver? Of course it is. And True was, he's 24. Let's see what we can find out for him. He did play last season for, why is his name, again, am I typing in names wrong? Spelled it like that. He's played in 19 games. He's got 5 points. He was played for the Seattle Thunderbirds. Well, we already know who's going to go last for the Canucks. It's going to be Lind, I believe. Which is a dud. If you're going to end it at least probably with Calgary, but doesn't look like it will. It'd be Cole Lind, I would have to imagine, with the expansion draft. And it is freaking hot in here right now. I ran into ice cold water. And I'm just roasting. I need them to make this last pick. We all know who it is. It's going to be Cole Lind, the second round pick from the 2017 draft. And I always find it amazing. I have a hard time remembering even the players that we select for my teams in the draft, let alone some people will remember random guys that were selected in the 5th round from 20 years ago. As we're waiting on the final team, it will be the Canucks. Shocker. And I'm out of water. I'm thirsty. I'm hot. I just want them to get it over with. I will do a video tomorrow, probably around 6:30. If you want to watch that, please make sure to watch that. Also, I did say, I don't know if any of you watched the video where I said I would give you a free sticker of my logo if you shouted me out on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. But if you do that, I will send you a logo and a handwritten note, and I'll mail it to you. And as long as you shout me out, my YouTube on your Instagram, just say Hockey Brigade on YouTube. If you do that, I will write you a personal note card, and I will also give you the sticker, which I know it isn't much, but I am a college student in my senior year. I am saving up for an apartment and all that good stuff. And yeah, the final pick is in. It is Cole Lind from the Canucks. Looks like he'll probably be in the AHL or be an asset for a trade down the road. But yeah, if anybody does that, just tag my Instagram or my Twitter, Hockey Brigade, and I will make sure to get those to you once we get them in the mail. The stickers to us, at least that is. Overall, not a terrible draft by the Kraken. I thought they made some good choices, some questionable choices, but again, this isn't their final roster. They've got a lot of cap space, and we'll talk about it more tomorrow, probably around 6:30, like I said. But yeah, I will give you guys a second to give your thoughts, whatever, say your parting thoughts, all that good stuff. Thank you for, hanging out with me and doing this, even though I was completely unprepared because of all that. But yeah, I will give you guys probably about a minute or two to finish off whatever you want to say. And yeah, there we go. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you, Jeremy. Always good to see you. And I will probably give you another minute. I don't think anybody is on here, but I just want to give everybody a chance to say goodbye. Justin said bye. Good to see you, Justin, as well. Goodbye. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon. And also thank you to anybody that was here. Oh, my phone's at 1%. Thank you to anybody who was here that got us to the 300 subscribers. And thank you for subscribing if you already have subscribed. You guys are amazing, very supportive. And I always thank you for being here and supporting me. And one day this will be something that I can do for a living. And I'll only have to thank you guys because you guys did all the work. So everybody stay safe, have a great night, and go love hockey, all right?